Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to a bit of live gameplay, and today I'm going to play the Tier 7 British TD, the Challenger, because I hate myself, apparently. As you can see, I've already actually gotten the daily in this thing. This is my second attempt at recording, and there's probably no way that the match I play is going to be half as good as the first one, and the first one was not particularly good at all. But, you know, things went wrong, and so therefore I've had to start over again, so... Yes, this is not just the first time I've stabbed myself in the face today, it's actually the second time I've stabbed myself in the face because, you know, I suffer so you don't have to. Seriously, don't buy the Challenger, it's pretty terrible. So this is about as good as it gets in terms of matchmaking, but there is literally no such thing as good matchmaking in this machine. Like, everything can and will hurt you, from the lowliest tier 4 scout to the biggest, mightiest tier 9 gun that you might meet. It's so nice when you meet the tier 9s, by the way, and you're trading, what is it, 150 damage per shot for somebody hitting you for an average of 750. It's such a good way to play. This is just, it's horrible. I mean, the gun is utterly subpar, the turret's terrible, the armor's nothing. I mean, the mobility is literally the only thing this has going for it. But even when you're top tier like this, like an SU-152 could easily frontally pen me with an HE shell and one-shot me. Stuart Mill, artillery, you know, there is nothing that is not a threat to me. Even the Lux can and will hurt me. So, yeah, that severely limits what you can do in this machine, and there are a lot of maps where you are kind of just, like, screwed. Like, in fact, why am I even going this way? My literal only option, well, the only sensible option, is to go up to the Abbey and try and spot for myself, hope other people are spotting. You can't take this thing on the front lines. It's actually worse than the Churchill gun carrier tier per tier. In fact, it's probably one of the worst machines in the game tier per tier. And at tier 7, you know, there's that, was it the SU-100M1? Like, that is not a well-regarded machine. There's the Chiri, which is, or is it Chiri? I can never remember. Which is not a particularly well-regarded machine. The Stuart Emil is not a particularly well-regarded machine, so it's not like there's not competition, even just at tier 7. But, yeah, it's terrible. It really is. It's the same gun 3 tiers in a row. Tier 5 and 6, the 17 pound are okay. You don't do a lot of damage, but you've got a fairly respectable amount of pen. And then suddenly at tier 7, it's not even a decent amount of pen, really, anymore, for the amount of damage that you can do. And it's not like it makes up for it by having fantastic DPM. In fact, the DPM is literally, for a tier 7 tank destroyer, literally just about average. I think very slightly below or very slightly above average. So, yeah, I am probably one of the very few tier 7 tank destroyers that could not one-shot a Lux. So, yes, the only reason I'm suffering through this is because, as with playing British artillery, I want the British Technical Engineer badge. And of course, just as I got to the end of my artillery grind and unlocking the CGC, I still have never bought that, and I never am going to. Mind you, I say that. I probably shouldn't make declarative statements. I might have a fit of insanity one day and go, hey look guys, I bought the CGC, it's so good, and you know, then you read the next day that I've been carted off to the loony bin. But anyway, yeah, just as I finished that grind, they suddenly introduced a whole new line of not particularly good tank destroyers, I have to say. Now I'm being ultra cautious here, because I have to. If I get spotted, everything can and will pen me. Like, you cannot rely on the armor of this at all, because it doesn't really have any. Not for a tier 7. So even when I'm doing this, sniping a tier 6 tank destroyer, even though I reload relatively quickly, I still have to be very, very cautious. I still have to pull back, because there might be horrible things back there waiting for me. We are winning this, though. And it's not really because I've done anything. I've done a measly 444 damage with my 3 shots, but I can't... I don't... Like, it's so... It's as bad as the Churchill gun carrier in how little flexibility it has. Like, the speed just means that you can get to where you need to go quicker and that you can retreat quicker if need be. It doesn't really give you any extra options. Like, me closing the distance with this T21... It was actually any good. Like, if I get really close to him, he can just dance around my turret all day long. But getting the damage in this. It's just, it's so, like, it's so lackluster. It's so mediocre. It's so, you just feel so hamstrung when you're playing it, because you can't afford to sit there and use the rate of fire that you have got. And like I've said, the DPM of this is not especially good. But if you don't, then you walk away with results like this, like we're basically walking over this enemy team, and I've done nothing. I think the best result I've had so far was 2200 damage, around about that. And I've also had results where I've done around about 2000 damage, and it's been a loss because you really can't carry in this thing. You don't have particularly the hit points, you don't have the armor, you don't have anything going for you at the end of the day. Oh, get my turret round on the bishop, and no, because screw me for playing this thing. Oh, I really hope it doesn't have the dirt gun. Now, you'd think, given that everything else is relatively lackluster, well, it's got 0.33 accuracy on the gun, which in theory is pretty good. But I think it would have to be as good as the E25, which is literally 0.30 accuracy. And if you were going to make this gun work with the stats it's got, well, it would probably need to reload almost as fast as the E25 as well. Like, it needs to be that level of almost that level of rate of fire to actually overcome everything else that it's currently got. Of course, the very easy solution would be a slight buff to the, look at this XP, a slight buff to the actual turret traverse and the 20-pounder gun, which the other British Tier 7 tank destroyer, the non-premium one, because of course the AT-15A has also got the 17-pounder, but it gets limited matchmaking, it gets a better rate of fire, and the lack of turret doesn't so much matter, because A, you've got armor to make use of that rate of fire, and B, you've got a pretty damn good turret traverse. Well, yeah, it's just, there's no reason why this doesn't have the 20-pounder. There is literally no reason. Like, it's like Wargaming deliberately set out to make as mediocre a tank destroyer as they possibly could. And they succeeded. So, you know, well done Wargaming, I suppose. Oh, it's terrible. It just is. Like, I can't wait to get to the Tier 8. The Tier 8 is a major step up in firepower. And the only other place in the British tech tree where you get that major step up in firepower is from the Comet to the Centurion with the, what is it, the Vickers HV or, no, the QQF, the 77mm gun. Going from that to the 20-pounder is a fairly big jump. So, yeah, I mean, the Comet actually would be not a terrible candidate to have this gun on. I think the 17-pounders just generally need a buff, because the Black Prince kind of has the same problem, but the Black Prince, at least when it's top tier, I will say, has the armor to sit and make use of its rate of fire. But even so, I mean, the Black Prince is one of those ones that just suffers badly when it's not top tier. And the 17-pounder gun is a large part of it. So if you had a lower rate of fire option with the 20-pounder, and it'd be like going from the 87 rather to the AT-15, where it's the same gun, but the AT-15 gets much better stats with that gun. Well, it's not like this has particularly fantastic stats for being a Tier 7, so it's like, well, I don't know. It's just a big pile of bleh. Also, we have an IS-5 on our team, which is, I believe, was that a Clan Wars reward tank? I can't remember. That might actually be the first time I've seen one of those in battle. So, also, yes, it wasn't me he was talking to. We actually have got another challenger on our team. So, the shortcomings of this dramatically hinder what you can do with it, much like the Churchill gun carrier. And it took them long enough to buff that damn thing, and it still is not particularly good, even though the gun handling is now a bit better. So I'm expecting it to be a good 5, 6, 7, 8 patches before they even think of touching the Challenger, because Wargaming do not move at a particularly fast clip when it comes to these things, alas. Right, can I actually hit anything from up here? No. Is it worth trying to get somewhere where I can actually hit something? Well, I can try getting closer into the city, but that KV2 could literally be the death of me. Like, you might as well be playing something as fragile as one of the German Waffenträgers, because the frontal armour, I think the best frontal armour you get is like 50 mil. At least it is on the turret. I can't remember what the hull gets, but it's not like it's particularly... I don't know. Literally, the only things this has going for it over the Churchill gun carrier even are the fact that it has a turret, albeit a very bad turret, and that mobility. Like, the mobility is the one thing that saves it from being... Well, I don't even know. Like, if it didn't have the mobility, then Wargaming would have had to be on drugs to, like, have decided that it wouldn't even have that. But it's just, it's terrible. There's really not much about this that isn't terrible. So either they're all camping at their base, or... Oh, hello, that's a super Pershing that's there. Okay. Or they've all gone down the other flank. Ooh. So far I've done 45 damage. Let's see if I can manage to do even less damage than I did in the last battle. You can afford to take so few risks in this, because you have got... oh, there's one of the 122S's. I actually bought one of those today. I decided... I got to play it a couple of times on a press account, and decided, okay, based on that, that was enough for me to want to actually buy it. But yeah, that thing is just so much better than this in every single conceivable way. Apart from, it obviously has the usual Russian gun handling. Like, in theory, this is I've said this already, haven't I? In theory, it's a good gun in terms of its accuracy, but yeah, it feels like it just would need to be so much better to actually make up for all the rest of it. So, yeah, this is low health, you know, low health super Pershing. It's fine, except no, it's not. I still have to be cautious even so. I'm trying to, for his turret shriek there, that's what, his turret cheek. But naturally, I managed to miss. This, I mean, it would have to be so good at making snapshots, and it's not especially. And it's not so much the aim time as it is the bloom when you're moving, the actual dispersion of the gun. Oh, I'm spotted. Just ever getting spotted at all, being shot at, is usually immensely bad news. And hello, the T-25-2, now that's regarded by a lot of people as being a lackluster Tier 7 tank destroyer, but I vastly enjoyed that. And look at that, 2 hits and I'm already, like, this is me now in serious trouble. Like, this is just, it's so bad. It's so bad. Wargaming, why? Why you do this? What did I ever do to you? Wargaming, what did I ever do to you to deserve having to play this? Because I'm totally forced to play this right. It's not that I've made this choice or anything. Oh, hello. How did that happen? How did you manage to turn blue? In fact, this is probably a bad idea, because he can just charge me down. He can take me in 2 shots. I am going to need... Oh, there we go. Multiple shots to kill him. His turret traverse is also not fantastic, though, so... As it turned out, that was tactical. It was calculated. Definitely. Yeah, it's... Oh... It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, it's like... I don't know, there are tanks, like the T-28 Pro at least had a decent gun for its tier, and there are tanks where I sell them and it's a sigh of relief. And there are tanks where I've thought, okay, this is just, I'm going to grit my teeth, and it's a pain, but at least I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, there's some kind of point to it in terms of a better tank down the road, or a better end of line tank. That's really not the case with the British TD line. Like, the Tier 8 and the Tier 9 seem okay. That's probably the best thing you can say about them, is that they seem okay. But, oh, there we go, artillery. Not artillery, the Super Pershing finished them off from there. That was a hell of a shot. But this is just, it's so bad. It's so bad. I can't get over how bad it is. Just like every single day. It's like, I try for the daily, and every single day it's like I've had protective amnesia. Like I've sort of forgotten the pain that it caused me, and I sit there aghast all over again at how bad it is, how just mind-numbingly terrible this machine is. It's just, oh, but knowing Wargaming, it will take far more patches to actually fix it than would seem reasonable to anybody else, and it will be probably long past the point where I finally managed to grind past it, because I mean, I'm already a third of the way there, and if I just keep doing the dailies and I just keep gritting my teeth and just keep having that daily dose of amnesia and coming back to it and thinking I'd forgotten how bad it was even though I only played it yesterday, well, eventually I will get past it. But seriously, by God, even with a premium account, this is just, it's so bad. It's just awful. Oh, anyway, this has been me losing my mind very slightly for the last 16 minutes playing the Challenger. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I didn't. If you did, you can leave any comments below, and you might even be one of those rare poor twisted souls that actually enjoys playing this thing, in which case you can tell me off about how wrong I am, because of course I am, of course. You can hit the like button, you can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.